Hey everyone, welcome back to Low Luxury, the channel where I show you what authentic luxury clothing and streetwear looks like. Today we're going to be taking a look at an awesome piece by one of our favorite brands here on the channel, and that of course is Palm Angels. So we've looked at a lot of Palm Angels pieces. We've looked at a jacket, a face mask, some pants, a t-shirt. We've gone down the whole line, but I just can't stop buying Palm Angels stuff. And hey, we're not gonna stop till we're dead, till we have every Palm Angels piece, right? But we haven't looked at a hoodie before. And just like with all Palm Angels stuff, there are a lot of elements here that are unique and make it worth looking at. And you know what? There's something else. Let me get this a little bit more into frame here, because down at the bottom of this hoodie, oh, what is that? Is that like a Fringe blankie? Oh, it's so soft. Oh, I love it, it's so soft. Yeah, this piece is fucking crazy, so let's check it out. But first, I've looked into it, and a very small percentage of you are actually subscribed to the channel. It's completely free. Just press that button and you will not regret it. Thank you so much. Holy hell, you guys, will you look at that? Oh my God. There are just so many crazy elements to this. But before we get into those, we've got to take a look at the retail tags that come with this piece, because that is one of the best ways to tell real versus fake no matter what. So this is a really big square piece of cardboard, quite thick as you can see. You can see the edges there, and those edges are painted gold. And centered in there, printed also in gold, is the Palm Angels logo. You can feel those letters a bit, but I wouldn't consider them embossed. I think that's just the printing itself. Now there are some details to the logo print that are actually really good to look at. One really good one is you see this loop that comes at the bottom of the P around here. And you can see it doesn't touch the loop of the P at the bottom. There's a tiny little gap there. And we want to make sure that that does not touch, because the fakes often get that wrong. So take a look at those little kind of script details coming off of the letters and make sure it all looks correct to you. You can see you've got a little kind of plastic black grommet there. And the back side of that, as Palm Angels do on their tags, is covered in like this gold glitter here all over. And it does have a bit of a texture to it, as you can see. And then attached to that, strung in with it, is a much thinner matte black piece of kind of like plastic cardstock here. So this side is blank, the side that faces the back side of that first tag. But then on the other side of that, facing outwards, if you just turned it over, is that sticker. And this is one of the best things you can look at here to tell real versus fake. So take that model number there and just plug that into Google and see what comes up. Because a lot of the time, they're going to be reusing, for the fakes, whoever's printing up these fakes, they're reusing that same number over and over from model to model. So if you search this number and this model, your model, comes up, that's a good sign. If other Palm Angels models come up, that is a bad sign. And we're also going to check, because there is also on the care tags, they print this number as well, and we want to make sure those match. Underneath that, we've got the model name, Red Rose Fringed Hoodie Aquamarine Red, and then the brand, Palm Angels. And then off to the right, bigger and bolder, you've got the size, small. Also attached to that is this kind of gray piece of cardstock here, and you've got the logo embossed on there. You can really feel those letters. And again, take a look at those loops, make sure they don't touch. And then it says, connect with your authentic product. So this is a great opportunity to tell real versus fake if yours has this. And on the back of that, it talks about Serta logo. So down with the care tags, you will have a QR code, that you can scan and make sure your piece is real. And then yours may or may not have this, but it's always a good sign to see a retailer's tag come with it that shows where it came from. So mine came from Selfridges, which is a luxury UK fashion store. I don't know why, the UK stores have some great sales sometimes. And that's got all the same information, it matches up really well, which is always a good sign, but again, it's not necessary to have. And these are all strung together with this very thick, glossy black string, and they go to a black light bulb shaped safety pin that goes right through the fabric at the back of the neck there. Now we got to take a look at the brand tag at the back of the neck. So as you can see, this is like a black piece of ribbon here. You can see these kind of vertical stripes texture going through it, and it is a glossy black. And then on there, you've got this rubber applique. So these letters like stick out of the tag itself, and they're this very kind of little smooth, like tacky, plasticky rubber lettering here. And again, take a look at all the details here. Again, see how that loop, it comes at the bottom of the P but does not touch the loop of it. That's always a good sign. So take a look at those letters, make sure they're nice and clean and correct. And then you can see these tags, they kind of fold over at an angle here because they go inwards, and then they go right into the seam at the back of the neck here, going into the hood. If we take a look at the inside of that, it's just totally blank. You just see that ribbony texture there. Now let's take a look at the care tags that are inside the hoodie. So these tags would be on your left side if you were wearing the hoodie, and they are a very smooth, like rubbery, plasticky, matte black, and they are loop tags, as you can see here. They kind of like fold over themselves, and then there's print on the front and back. And printed on there in a light gray, first off, you've got that logo print once again, and then we've got our model number, which again matches the sticker on the retail tag. And we've got our size chart here, and you can see how the letter S in small is a bit bolder than size above it. Then we get into our fabrication. So the body of this is 100% cotton, that's like the blue part. And then the blanket part, the fringe, is 50% wool, 40% acrylic, and 10% alpaca. Ooh, fancy. And then we get into the ribbing, and we go fold that over, and on the back of that, we've got cotton and elastane. And the detailing, I'm guessing maybe that's the embroidery, is wool and acrylic. And detail 2, that's the drawstrings, is 100% leather. So we've got a lot of different fabrications going on here. Then we get into our washing instructions. We've got 5 symbols here. Then we've got it in English, and each step is kind of separated by a slash. Then French, and we continue on to the next tag, and it comes through in other languages, Asian languages, and Arabic. And then centered there, it talks about spot cleaning. Interestingly, I don't know if I've really seen that many times on pieces before. And we fold that over, and it talks about specialized washing in various languages, and then contains non-textile parts of animal origin. And now this final tag is the only one that isn't a loop tag. It's just a single tag here. And up at the top, you've got the company information, Venice SRL, and their address. And then made in Italy, always a good sign. A lot of Palm Angel stuff is made in Italy or maybe Portugal. And then their logo print at the bottom. And the back of that is blank. And that's stitched in right from the back with a single really clean stitching line going right into that side seam there in that same blue color as the body of the hoodie itself. And also on the inside of this hoodie, right above those care tags here, we've got our Serta logo tag. So this is like a gray embroidered tag here, and my finger is actually covering a QR code. So you can just scan that code with your phone, and it'll tell you whether your piece is real or not. So if you've got this tag, if it hasn't been cut out or anything, that's the best thing you can do to tell authenticity. And on the back side of that, even if the logo is like faded or whatever, the QR code, they actually give you a number here, and you can punch that in as well to tell if it's real or not. And now that we've checked all of that out, it's finally time to take a look at the unique details of this piece. And boy, there are some very unique details here, so let's get into it. But we're going to start small. We're going to start with the fabrication of the body itself. So you can see that the main hoodie here actually has a pretty visible texture to it. Like it's got a fairly loose knit, like you can see kind of each stitch there going through in this knit pattern. And that's super soft. It's a very like nice, comfortable hoodie. I'd say kind of like mid-weight. The cuffs and the hem don't really have that texture. Those are like a double layer folded over, more kind of elastic piece here. And then at the chest, we've got some really nice embroidery here. So this, as you can see, is a rose. You've got red for the flowers. It's got an outline in like a gold rusty orange. And then the stem is black. And you can see the detailing of that there and how kind of clean it is, but also a little bit like intentionally messy, you know? And if we look to the inside of the hoodie, that is what the inside of that embroidery looks like there. And the drawstrings, as we saw in the care tags where it was saying the fabrication, these are 100% leather, which is just crazy. So there are 2 of them coming out of each kind of grommet there, and they are brown leather, and they've really kind of left it raw, so you can see the inside of the leather and the grain pattern there. And these are just kind of cut off at the end, nothing special there at the ends. And they go into these nice silver metal grommets here around the neck. So now I think it's finally time for us to talk about this crazy fringe at the bottom. So this is like made out of wool and alpaca, and it's crazy, crazy soft. It really does feel like a knit blanket. It's so cool. So essentially what happens is the hoodie ends, so here's the bottom of what would be a normal hoodie, and then sewn in right there, it begins this knit blanket kind of sweater, whatever you want to call it, this knitting, and then it ends there, and then it leaves it off with all of this fringe, these single like pieces of yarn coming off the bottom here. And if we turn that inside out, we can see inside the hoodie where the knit and the hoodie itself are sewn together so that that can kind of happen. And then of course on the back of this piece, we have some nice bold branding, which is this screen printed logo and rose here. So you can see the print, it's quite thin, like you can see the texture of the hoodie coming through each letter here, but it does have a very different texture to the hoodie itself. It's a bit kind of rough, I would say. But the lines, as you can see, are extremely clean. There's nothing weird about that. And then it's got this kind of like pixelated pattern, this kind of scratchy. You can see each like these harsh angles for the stem and the rose itself. It's a really, really cool treatment. Another thing that you should always be looking out for is the quality of construction. So as you can see, the stitching here is very clean. There are no wonky stitches. It goes nice and straight in these clean lines. So if you see any really weird stitches going off in weird directions that don't seem right, that is a bad sign. And finally, if we take a look inside this hoodie, you can see it's like a nice kind of terry cloth pattern. It is so comfortable. I can't even begin to describe. Like, take a look at the inside of your normal hoodie. It does not look like this. This is more of a kind of knit texture or something, and it's really, really great to wear. So now that we have checked all of that out, let's try this piece on to see how it feels and see how it fits. So let's talk about the feel first. I already touched on this a bit when I was talking about the inside of this hoodie. It really, really feels nice. It feels like, I don't know, after a shower, you've got your towel wrapped around you. It's just a really, really nice, comfortable feeling. And of course, that fringe being wool and alpaca and acrylic, like when you get a feel of that, kind of your hands at your sides, you can feel that fringe. Man, that stuff is so soft. It's perfect. The size is actually quite interesting. So as we saw, this is tagged a size small. And I am a true to size small. That's what I usually wear. But this piece, it fits more, I would say, like a true to size large. Like where the shoulders fall, it's quite a bit down my bicep actually. But me, I'm fine with that. I feel like if a brand puts something out and says it's a small, they do that for a reason because they think it should be an oversized fit. So that's generally what I go with. If that's how they think it should fit, I'm gonna trust them. But if you want something that fits true to size for you, I would definitely consider sizing down. But this piece is just so unique. It's got so many cool elements to it without being overbearing. It's just like, it's a normal ass hoodie, but then it's got these couple tweaks that just take it over the edge and make it something really new and really, really cool. So I'm very into it and very happy with this piece. So that is how you tell the difference between real and fake Palm Angels hoodies. Take a look at the other video on screen here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'll see you next time.